You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. This podcast is brought to you by Stratum Aesthetics. Head to stratumaesthetics.com to find curated skincare, body care, and other wellness products hand-selected by me. Now enjoy the show. Welcome in, my friend. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm pumped about today's topic. I've been wanting to talk about wrinkles and what they are, maybe what they mean, beautiful ways to tend to your face as you begin to see wrinkles or as you continue to see wrinkles. But I really can't talk about that in the way that I want to without first laying the foundation today for a deeper conversation, which is this idea that beauty is sacred. And if today lands for you, I have a huge favor. I would love if you would share this show, this episode with two people who you know, who you think would also find value from it. I really want to grow this podcast and all of the work that I'm doing over here, but it's also important to me that it grows in an organic way with the right people. And I feel that word of mouth is just so powerful. And I also want the people in your life to also benefit. So if you could do that for me, it would mean the absolute world. I do want to mention that this episode is brought to you by my company, Stratum Aesthetics. You can visit my apothecary online if you are craving skincare and ritual tools that support this deeper relationship to your beauty and to your body. When I want to connect with sacred beauty, my favorite tool is gua sha, and you can browse my selection of gua sha stones. My favorite is the professional Cecily Braden Nephrite Jade gua sha. This is the one that I use in facials. It's a very strong, sturdy stone, and I love it for that because it's much more difficult to break if you drop it. Unfortunately, I know that from experience, from dropping many stones over the years and shattering them. But I will link it in the show notes and you can check it out. But let's get back to the episode. So this idea that beauty is sacred, it feels like a visceral truth to me. I know it in my body. But I've been chewing on what that really means because it also kind of sounds like an Instagram platitude and like a little floaty, maybe a little flat or fake. And so I wanted to really dive into like, what the heck does that even mean to me? And this is why I love writing so much. If nothing else, I hope that my show bullies you into becoming a writer because I just think writing is such a beautiful way to clarify your thoughts. And so I've been spending a lot of time writing about this idea of sacred beauty, what it actually means. And this episode is just like a lot of excerpts from my journaling and me trying to figure out what I mean by that. And why I think it's so important that we recognize our own beauty as sacred. And so what I've come up with, what I think this means is that beauty is a glimpse of the divine through matter, through physical matter. When we recognize beauty out in the wild, it's like this shock to our system, like this heart-piercing moment when I think about this, I think about this area in the mountains here in Colorado where you come around this bend on Highway 285 and all of a sudden it opens up to this insanely gorgeous expanse of mountain landscape. And it's just like, whoa. Or when you smell lilacs in the spring, or just that feeling of something being totally sublime, being awe-inspiring. This is what I'm talking about when I say a glimpse of the divine through matter. And human beauty is the same thing. A beautiful face isn't just anatomy of eyes and nose and a mouth. It's about the life force and magnetism behind it. But obviously, they're a little bit different, right? So the same way that you stop noticing the mountains when you drive by them every day, or they just become normalized, I guess, we stop registering the beauty in other people. So that's true. But then there's also another part, I think, of why we don't always register the beauty in others like we might from a sunset. And that is that humans are both so sacred, but they are also highly annoying and irritating. Mountains, for the most part, don't create friction for us, but at the times that they do, maybe there's falling rock that cracks your windshield or whatever, we're not looking at them with awe anymore. And I think that that's similar to how we see other people. People carry ego and shadow and stories that we attach to them. And this can, I think, sometimes eclipse the divine beauty that they do still hold. We just don't see it, or we're not registering it. But I also think that this is why human beauty is even more sacred when you do catch it. Like when you catch the tenderness in someone who is driving you insane, it's like awe is breaking through despite that. And I think that feels like that heart-piercing moment. So let's turn it around on ourselves. When we look in the mirror, and most of the time, we're not seeing something sublime. Maybe we're seeing pores or wrinkles or pigmentation. Instead of seeing the whole presence, the magnetic life force, we're zooming in on what's wrong because we have these grooves in our brain that have been paved by cultural conditioning. These grooves are the effect of repeating a thought or reaction often enough. The neurons in your brain actually form a stronger connection with each other. It's called synaptic plasticity. So if you could imagine your brain like soil, every time water runs down the same path, it's making a little channel. And the more it rains, the deeper this channel gets. And eventually water just always runs through this way, even if there's other directions that it could flow. So from childhood, you've been saturated with images of wrinkle-free faces or before and after shots or extreme makeovers or subliminal themes on TV shows, or even just totally in your face themes on TV shows, ads that equate youth with worth. These are all exposures that are like a drip of water running down that same mental path, creating grooves that tell you that wrinkles or signs of aging equal a problem, but smooth skin equals good. And over the years, that drip carves a rut that's so deep that when you see your own reflection, your brain doesn't even consider a neutral or an awe-filled response. It might just go straight to, that's a flaw, it needs to be fixed. And I find it interesting that some of the most conventionally attractive people that I know or who I work with are some of the most worried about their aging face or imperfections. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're freaking so beautiful. How do you not see that? But if your identity or safety feels so tied to appearance, the more beauty you have, the more you might be terrified of losing it. And I say this because it shows me that even if someone is like quote unquote winning at conventional beauty, without seeing beauty as sacred, it becomes very fragile and fleeting, and it can be taken away. Seeing beauty as sacred really grounds it and allows it to be something that doesn't have to fade, like vitality and life force. It takes away this feeling of panic at the sight of change in your face. There was a podcast episode with Dr. Zach Bush on the Almost 30 podcast several years ago, where he said something that just took my breath away about beauty. And I want to read it for you because I think that it perfectly captures my thoughts here. So he says, challenge yourself to find the beauty in yourself today. Before you put your makeup on, find the beauty in your face. I love the way in which freckles and wrinkles happen. They are beautiful. I love the face of an elder. Why did we discredit that? When did we fear having the face of an elder? When did we fear the face of wisdom? How much effort are we doing to cover up our wrinkles and our spots? And yet when we look at a grandmother, we only see beauty. We know that the beauty is there. Why are we resisting the emergence of beauty, of wisdom and life lived and experience had? Why are we fearing that? Why are we trying to cover up? We need to uncover our own beauty. We need the tracks of nature to be across our face. I want the sunspots to be seen because that is the record of my worship of that sun. I want the wrinkles to be there because they are the evidence of the emotional journey of being human. I can record the smiles that I've had at the corner of my eyes. I can record the worry that I've had over my own children and over humanity itself in the lines between my eyes. This is the record of being human, and it's beautiful. We need to see that beauty in one another, and we need to remind each other of it. I just thought that was so good. When I first heard it, I was on the treadmill and I had to stop and write down everything that he said because it was so on point. And I think that it exemplifies the sacredness of beauty in such a poignant way. And so with that, I want to bring up the idea of fix-it culture into this conversation. Because when I talk in the next episode about wrinkles, I want it to be very clear that there's a huge difference between fix-it mode, which is panic, and pathology, and tending to your skin as sacred. So massage, face tape, these can be practices of reverence when they're done from love and not fear. But what is fix-it culture when it comes to your beauty? I see it as this web of beliefs and industries, habits, all of these things that are teaching us to experience our bodies, especially our faces, as a series of problems waiting to be solved. Botox, fillers, lasers, these are all clear expressions of fix-it culture. It's literally the medicalization of natural aging. And I'm not saying this to shame anyone. I myself have had laser done before I really understood this energy. And this isn't just the medical aesthetics world. I see people pushing face massage or facial exercises or face tape in a fix-it culture sort of way. So when we are approaching beauty, something that is holy, something that is sacred in this fix-it way, it is desecration. And I'm not calling this desecration to be dramatic. It's what happens when something holy is handled without reverence. And if beauty is truly sacred, if it's life and vitality and divine presence showing up for us through matter, then fix-it culture does a little bit more than just miss the point. It's taking something that is holy and pathologizing it and commodifying it. And it blinds us to the very thing beauty was meant to do, which is remind us of God, remind us of life, our belonging here. Beauty should inspire awe, but this fix-it mindset swaps that off for panic. So instead of look at the life in me, the grooves in your brain become, I'm running out of time. And instead of reverence for your beauty, you're getting a vigilance. And frankly, I think this is insidious. So with that in mind, as you move through this week, I want to invite you to just notice a few things about how you're relating to your face, so you can maybe catch this fix-it mindset. The first thing that I want you to notice is if your rituals become maintenance instead of medicine. Are you rushing through your skincare like it's an oil change? Cleanse, scrub, slap, done. Or are you treating it as medicine for your whole being? Are you coming to it with presence, with breath, and not just surface work? The second thing I want you to look for is when beauty becomes about approval or shame. So panicking about a breakout, obsessing over a scar or a wrinkle, or having distress over changes in your skin. And it's not the concern that's off, it's the charge of the energy underneath it, like feeling subconsciously like I have to fix this so that I'll be okay, so that I'm accepted or that I have worth, chasing this safety outside of yourself. The next thing is to notice if you're thinking of your face as separate from your body or your emotions. So treating your face like it's an isolated project instead of seeing it as a part of your whole self, your body, your mind, your feelings. The next one is over cleansing, over exfoliating, picking at your skin, basically waging war on your skin, coming at it from a punishment stance, trying to force it into compliance. And then the last thing that I want you to look out for is if your touch lacks love. So if you're not touching your face with affection, if you're only slapping products on, even with your face massage, are you doing that with an intent to, again, snatch it into compliance? So all of those patterns point to the same thing of being stuck in this fix-it mindset. We forget that we actually have a choice in how we relate to our beauty. And with that said, this is also about sovereignty. If you've been trained to see your face as a problem, you don't actually feel like you have that choice anymore. You're just reacting. Sacred beauty doesn't mean neglect. It doesn't mean we never touch our face or care for our skin. It's really just about the energy being different. We tend to our beauty instead of this compulsion to fix it. And that's why next week, when I share some really practical tips for wrinkles, things like massage and face tape, I want you to remember this lens. We are supporting our skin the way we'd care for a garden, with reverence and not with panic, right? Okay, I hope that this has been helpful and valuable, maybe a little reframe. If so, reach out. I love to hear from you. If this idea of sacred beauty feels resonant to you, then I would love to invite you into my self-care facial massage workshop called Vital Harvest. It is a 6 weeks workshop where we meet live and we basically just learn how to massage your face in a gentle, loving, nourishing way. Not in a let's snatch your face and fix you kind of way, more of like, how do we tend to our sacred beauty kind of way. So this will open up for the fall cohort of 2025 on November 17th. And tickets or seats for this open up on October 15th. We do cupping, we do gua sha. So I need about a month to be able to send everything to all of the participants. So that's why I open it up 1 month prior. I keep this intimate, so there's only 10 spots opening up. So if you're interested, make sure to add your name to the wait list that's in the show notes, and I hope to see you in there. I will be back next week, and until then, be well. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you like what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels @stratumaesthetics.